It's an original tag.
Woo!
From Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, the writers of the best tags on the internet.
What are we calling it? The ratings and reviews tag? That's what we're calling it.
The ratings and reviews tag. Tag, folks.
Are you ready for the list? Have you got it in your brain?
There is a sister video for this video where we're discussing an adjacent topic with some very excellent booktubers.
So we'll start by tagging them. Appearing in that video, we've got Roz from Scarly Dandling About the Books, Sean, the Book Maniac, Olivia from Olivia's Catastrophe,
Elle from Elle Thinks, Bob the Bookerer, Kieran from KD Books,
Pay Attention,
Hannah from Hannah's Books, and we have Courtney Farrader.
They're all tagged. Do we want to tag a couple of extra people just because it's a new tag, or will we be done with that?
Anybody who likes this tag, because...
Yeah, anybody who wants to contribute to the conversation, because this is one of those conversational tags. So let's get into the questions proper. Question 2. How do you know if you've just finished a good book? Is it a thinking or a feeling response?
Well, for me, it's a feeling response. I know. I can feel it in my body if it's a good book.
I would say that I know well before I finish, and that it can be either. Question 3. When you begin to form your review or rating, what is the first question you ask yourself?
It's usually why.
Why
is there a lady living in the attic, for example? What does that do?
So your first step is to dig deeper.
Sometimes the question is, why did this get published?
But it's why. It's always why.
But I don't mean it from a shady point of view. Like, if I didn't like the book and it's published...
Someone saw something.
Why did that happen?
Yeah. For me, the first question is, who would love this? Who would I recommend this to?
Oh, that is a question I do ask myself, but it's not first.
Question 4. Do you do star ratings? Why or why not?
I completely do star ratings. The reason I do star ratings is stupid. I, at some point, decided I wanted a list of all the books that I have read. I found out that there was an app for that. It asked me for a star whenever I finished reading a book. So I put a star rating in, and that's why I star rate.
Yeah, I don't star rate. We've sort of dug deep into the why and why not of this quite a few times on this channel. The sort of main reasons are that I feel like it makes me rank books, and that makes me uncomfortable and detracts from my enjoyment of reading. And I also don't really think that my enjoyment is the most important thing to talk about when I finish a book. So now it's a bit choose your own adventure. If you do star rate, you answer section A, and if you do not star rate, you answer section B. So Scott will answer section A. The first question is, explain your star rating system. What does a good book get in your rating system?
I don't use half stars or quarter stars or fraction stars, so you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 stars.
Yeah.
1 star is I hated this book, or I saw no merit in this book. There is no positive I can put on this book. It's not like I can go, I could see what it was trying to do and I didn't appreciate it. It was, I can't see the merit in this book. Or it was actively bad.
Yeah, okay.
2 stars is a book that I didn't enjoy.
But you understand intellectually someone might somewhere.
A 2-star book is not without hope. But...
Okay, let's get to 3 stars before I run out of hope.
3 stars is a good book without much positive to say about it. But it could also be a bad book as well. It's really a neutral book.
Yeah.
Right. There's a bit of scope to be either side here. This is the most wishy-washy of the star ratings here, because I could like a 3-star or I could dislike a 3-star.
Yeah.
But it's really an average book. 4 stars means it's good, but it's not. It's short of the 5-star. Yeah, of course, because it's 4 stars. It has its problems, or it didn't make me invest in the characters, or there was something holding it back from being 5 stars. And then 5 stars is great. Usually if you're a 5-star book, it means that I have had a bit of an emotional roller coaster with the characters. If that isn't the case, I have had a bit of an emotional roller coaster with the plot or something. There is, I think this emotional roller coaster is the thing. Even if that is, the emotional roller coaster is this book was really funny and I laughed
the whole way through, yeah.
But usually there are certain books that I pick up that I know really don't have what it takes to be a 5-star book. Something like a thriller or a comedy, like a P.G. Wodehouse is probably not.
It's not going to cut it.
But I love P.G. Wodehouse, you know?
Yeah. Is your star rating consistent?
No.
Okay.
No.
Path B, what language do you use to convey the quality of a book in your reviews? I don't think that I have a consistent sort of set approach to this. We often will discuss sort of the componentry of a book in the lead up to a summary. So I will have expressed a lot of ideas about quality and described the book in that, and it's usually only at the very end that when Scott gives his star review that I feel like I have to summarize the quality of the book. I will say something. Often I'll say whether I would reach for the author again, whether I'll reread the book, whether it's likely to come up in a favourites list, whether it's offensive, those sort of things to convey my overall impression. The second part of this question is, does this form an informal rating or ranking? No, I push very hard back against the idea of ranking books and rating them, and this tag and a couple of other videos we're making are about me reevaluating whether that is still working for me.
This idea of ranking books on some sort of a ladder or something that you really push back against. Why do you push back against that? Are you worried that you will disagree with the rankings that you arbitrarily pick? Do you not think you can compare?
I don't think it's possible. I don't think you can compare.
So you like literary fiction, you like historical fiction, you like sci-fi. You don't think it's fair to compare across genres?
I not even just across genres, but like across genres, across time periods sometimes. Even from author to author sometimes there's just...
the scope of the book.
Yeah, the book... You cannot compare P.G. Wodehouse to War and Peace and put them on the same rating system. Like, that is lunacy.
I mean, most Wodehouses I give 4 stars to, and I gave War and Peace 4 stars. So similar quality.
That just breaks my brain. Oh, that's horrible. Horrible. We're up to question 5. Do you believe every book has its perfect reader? Does this contradict the idea that a book can be bad?
I believe every book has its perfect reader. That does not mean the book is perfect for the reader. That means the reader is perfect for the book.
Yeah.
I definitely think that there are books that are marketed to people that... not marketed, aimed at people who are not me. So therefore, I don't think that this does contradict the idea that a book can be bad. Also, often bad books have a larger audience than good books.
I agree. I really, really believe that every book has its perfect reader. I think that this means that books that one person might call bad, another person would disagree with. But I do think that there is a bottom of the barrel where the book is just a piece of trash.
I also think I can call a book bad and you can call the same book good and we can both be right.
Yeah, totally. Question 6. What book that you hated have you recommended?
Well, I recommended to a book fiend named Mel Piranesi, which I dumped a bucket of water, or you dumped a bucket of water over my head when I reviewed it to cover my disdain. Just think that is a book that Mel will love because she likes
that sort of
Greek mythology, she likes setting, she likes fantasy, and they're just things that I don't value in a book. And that doesn't mean that either of us are wrong. I
have suggested that people read The Wasp Factory, but mostly to settle the household argument about it. Books that I truly, truly hate, I don't think I do recommend. I'm never telling anyone to read The Da Vinci Code.
Books that I truly, truly hate. I'm really curious as to what people think. One of the books that I love watching people review the most is Moby Dick. Because I hated that book.
Yeah.
I can remember the book quite well. As the length between me reading the book increases and the scars reduce, I can see the merit. As my
wounds heal.
Oh, as the whale encyclopedia parts disappear. But I think that there's actually quite a bit of merit in that book but it was just horrible. And I like seeing people review that to see I think it tells me a lot about them as a reviewer if they...
And a person, yeah. Question 7. What makes a book good, bad, or great by your evaluation?
This is a interestingly subjective question because what does good, bad, or great even mean to you?
Yes.
I think that there are elements in a book that I don't value, but that can change a book from good to great. If I am to like a book at all, I want good characters. That is really one of the good characters and good themes. If you've got those two things, I'm probably going to like the book. Good writing, I don't really care too much about good writing on its own. Bad writing I care about. Once you have those things that I like, good writing then really magnifies that, and it becomes such a critical thing from turning a book from good into great. But ultimately, what I am looking for in a great book is this emotional roller coaster that I can get either from empathizing with the characters or from a bit of excitement in the plot or whatever it is. But I do think that things like writing and setting, which are not things that I tend to value in a novel, are really good for tweaking those things and getting that
extra little bit of something.
One of them is like painting without a canvas, and then the other one's giving you the full range of colours, and you still need the full range of colours.
Bad writing is a thing that will make a book bad for me 100% of the time. That or just being offensive. Or what makes a book good, I think for me, is readability. I have a tendency to sort of chop and change between 4 books on my bedside table at a time. If a book distracts me from the other books on my bedside table and I read it straight through without interrupting it with other books, that's a sign of a good book. What makes a book great is either a very strong emotional response, or that it teaches me something about the world or myself. When evaluating the quality of a book, do you have a specific criteria or aspects of the book, such as character development, that you consider? Does this change if you're writing an in-depth review versus just thinking about the book for enjoyment?
Yeah, it totally does change between an in-depth review or writing books for or my own enjoyment, rather.
Well, that is the opposite answer for me.
If I am going to write a review or film a review, I consider plot, characters, setting, writing, structure, themes, those 6 things. I also consider whether I enjoyed the book.
Yeah.
Right, so seven things really. But whether I enjoy the book is first, and I'm looking at those 6 things as to sort of to back up my intuition.
Yeah, okay. I don't really have specific criteria that I look at, but I do think a lot about the themes, and when we're writing when we're filming a review, we do go through those categories, but that's sort of not how I evaluate the quality of a book. Definitely for me, the quality is very strongly linked to the writing quality and to whether I feel the book has fulfilled the author's artistic intent, whatever I perceive that to be. Question 9. Do you consider star ratings or average ratings when choosing books to read or add to your TBR?
Yes and no. It's not something that I value quite a lot. I am much more likely to listen to a review from somebody. I don't care whether they liked it or not. I care
how they describe it.
I care what they think the merits of it are. But when I open my Goodreads and I see something has a 3.0 average rating, I will judge it for that.
Yeah, okay.
And also, everybody knows on their Goodreads, I know literary fiction has a lower average rating than fantasy, and you know these things. So, what is a high rating for one book might be a low rating for another book. But I'm really just looking for the really low to just go maybe not. That's all I will consider it for. I won't go 4.9. I'm definitely reading that.
I definitely consider star ratings. I think that reviews are often the thing that puts the book on my radar in the first place, and then I have a tendency to go and check it out on Goodreads. If someone talks about a book, I'll often end up putting a book by the same author on my TBR, but not necessarily the same book.
Yeah, if I've previously liked an author is the other thing that goes...
Yeah.
Which is completely...
Yeah, I think that's probably my real caveat. If I've read the author before, I won't look at star ratings. If I haven't, then I look at star ratings not just for that book, but also for their other books. And that is a big consideration for me, whether I will add one of their books to my TBR. Question 10. Who on BookTube does reliable and interesting reviews of books that you know you can use to decide if a book is for you or not, and what makes their reviews so good?
There are 2 booktubers that just allow me to know what the quality of the books are, and then I can use my knowledge of myself as to whether I will like those.
Yeah.
And those 2 reviewers, I think, are Olivia and Bob. I just think that they are... The way that they review is quite wonderful. There are a whole host of other absolutely
reviewers,
excellent reviewers that have a slightly different style that I still completely value. I don't
think this is saying everyone else is crap. I think this is 2 that you want to highlight is plenty.
But the reason I have picked those 2 is because I always feel confident at the end of their review
that you understand what the book's like.
I feel confident that I can watch Olivia give a 5-star review of a book and go, it's not for me.
Yeah.
That's and a 1-star review of a book she hated and go, yeah, I think I'll pick that up.
Yeah.
That's and the same with Bob. Not that I think Bob gives out 1 stars, but that's a different thing.
For me, probably the 2 that come to mind the most are Sadie Reads Again and Angie's Book Chatter, and that is primarily because I just agree with their taste quite a lot, and it's much less about their expression and their reviews and much more about just a commonality of a certain vein of reading, I think.
I must confess that those are the 2 booktubers I think I have the
most
biggest crossover in taste with.
Yeah.
Particularly Sadie.
Yeah.
If Sadie gives something 5 stars, I know I will like it. But I think that's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Question 11. Do those booktubers use different language than you to evaluate and review the overall quality in a book? I think the 2 ladies that I mentioned often really focus on their own emotional response and their own experience with the book in a way that I have never valued in my own expression, but I really value from other people. And I guess this comes back to me reevaluating what is and isn't working for me.
Yeah, this is something I find really interesting because, yeah, exactly what you said. I know the reviews you value the most when we're watching BookTube together.
Absolutely. And they're almost exactly the opposite to what I think I should be doing. It's very interesting.
I don't think that there's anything that you should be doing on BookTube.
No, that is definitely an internal self-decision. Your answer to the question.
I think that they do use different language to me. I think that they're different people, I think they use really different language to each other too. Like if you compare Olivia and Bob, they're actually very differently expressed. But I do agree with you that they both have that real clarity at the end of a review. Like you really understand where that book is going to sit for you personally. So I don't think it's about the language that they use. I don't know what tricks. I don't know how they do it.
It's magic.
If I knew how they did it, I would probably say yes to this because I would probably copy it. Reviews. It's very integrated with both of them. Actually, they both are very facially expressive when they're reviewing. When they're enjoying a book, they actually smile.
Yeah. Quite
a lot. I think that the facial expression, in combination with these 2 people being 2 incredibly intelligent, well-spoken people,
yeah,
I think that is just such a good combination. Just works for me.
I think Bob has a way of evoking language styles in the way he describes them in a way that's almost a bit meta. Like, I feel like sometimes he steals from the playbook of the author that he's talking about. Not a lot. It's not just enough so you get a feel. Do you know what I mean? I feel like if he's describing a moody book, he sounds a bit moody. You know what I mean? Like, that sort of thing.
And if he's describing a comedy, he'll include a joke.
Olivia, I think, has quite an analytical approach. And I think that she has quite a good grasp on what she personally enjoys and what she doesn't. She can put that forward in a way that I really associate with the younger generation.
Do you know, I think that there's another thing about them. They're very engaging people.
Yeah, we just like them.
Yeah, yes. There's this good combination of the analytics and the emotion, but I think the engagement means that a lot of the time I'm watching booktube, I'm cooking dinner, I'm cleaning the house, I'm doing something else. So therefore...
You've got to cut through that.
You have to cut, yeah. I might watch a book haul. You might have 10 books, and my brain might only register 6 of them because I'm doing something else. And you have to be an engaging person. And I think both of these two are very engaging.
That's it. That's the tag. I hope that you like our questions and have fun with this one. We look forward to seeing what everyone thinks. And I look forward to using it to solve my star rating conundrum.
Check out this tag's sister video where we talk to 9 very excellent booktubers about an adjacent topic.
Yeah.
Click here.